All right, so I've spent a good amount of time setting up dashboards in Home Assistant, and although I have some pretty good dashboards, I think I could do better. And what I want to do
All right.
is
So
I
I've
want
spent
to
a good
build a
amount of
tool
time
that
setting up
will
dashboards in
allow
Home
me
Assistant,
to, I
and
gotta get rid of this echo, allow me to create dashboards for a variety of displays. One of the things that I want to display on is an Echo Show 8 that I'm running Lineage on. But I also want to do it on a laptop or my main PC or my phone or whatever. But the idea here is that I'm going to build a dashboard that's outside of Home Assistant that can control Home Assistant, um, also be updated based on Home Assistant states if I need it to be. For example, just showing what lights are on, or if someone's at the front porch making a delivery, that sort of thing. So I don't have a clear vision other than that. Um, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use ChatGPT as the project lead, the CTO, if you will, and I'm going to use Claude Code as the lead software engineer. Um, I have Proxmox running on my tinkering environment. Um, I got a web server on there, and so I'm thinking maybe this dashboard can come from that web server. But I don't know. Just got some ideas that I want to tinker with, and I figured I'd live stream them because I think there's enough people that are interested in dashboards for Home Assistant or, controlling home things that makes sense to share what I'm doing. Maybe for some people it's stupid, but I don't really care. I like tinkering. And so, anyway, blah, blah, blah. Um, so, what I did is I worked with ChatGPT to create um, a PRD, so product requirements document. And I'm not going to go through all 200 lines of the requirements. But the idea is that ChatGPT uh, is taking the lead as far as decisions on how to deliver what it is I want. I've already shared what I want with you. I've also um, created some rules. I asked ChatGPT to create some rules. Um, Basically, some constraints for ChatGPT in regards to tech stack or other types of things. But the idea here is that ChatGPT will give direction to Claude Code, and I'll just hand off messages to Claude Code or ChatGPT as needed, and we'll see if we can come up with an application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm just going to tell it I'm going to use their voice to chat or voice to text rather. All right, let's get started. What is your first prompt for Claude Code? In case you're curious, I do have a Claude Code Max subscription. I'm not paying for the full-on high cost version, um, but I do pay for a Max version, and then I do the plus version of ChatGPT. I did tell Claude that for this project, maybe I should back up a little bit once he's done. Okay, so he's doing it in Markdown, and what I did was I created a project that um, I've had a little bit of back and forth with Claude in regards to prepping for this. Um, I said, hey, anytime we're sending messages to Claude, we need to make sure it's in Markdown format, just so it's easy for me to copy and paste it over to Claude. And then when Claude is done doing work, Claude's supposed to provide a summary to ChatGPT, the project lead, the CTO, um, and then ChatGPT will provide next steps. Um, so I added 2 files. I shared those earlier, but they're in the project with ChatGPT as well. So Claude Code is familiar with them, and then ChatGPT is familiar with them. In addition to the Claude Code setup, I do have skills set up in regards to the lab environment, this test environment. Um, so basically just given an understanding of where my repository is and where my web server is for this development environment. So um, anyway, all right. So the first bit is in Markdown. So basically just kind of saying, hey Claude, you're the lead engineer and you must follow these rules. Also have a look at the PRD. That's the single source of truth. This is what I want. The goal is to establish a verified baseline that, and then it goes into a bunch of detail. I'm not going to read every bit of this for you, but the idea is that we're going to feed Claude and go from there. So part of that is understanding exactly what it is I want, and what I want is to be able to have a dashboard where I can add light or a group of lights, control a scene, an automation, you know, basically on a touch screen. If I wanted to turn off the kitchen lights, I could, or turn them on, or set them to whatever brightness level. And so some of that stuff I'm going to be winging as far as when we get to the point where I have a dashboard where I can add stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I didn't give it any direction on what the design should be, but I did have ChatGPT take um, a look, do some research, and try to understand some of the things in this PRD that um, we need to prep for. So it may, or they may have questions in regards to what I want. All right, so I pasted the first set of text. It's quite a bit, so Claude's going to do its thing. It's going to create a to-do list. It's going to work on that. The to-do list is going to be restate MVP scope and engineering gates from the doc, repo inventory, detect package manager, stack, Docker compose. So it's considering my folder, my dashboards folder here as the repo, which I guess is fine. Building it locally might be okay. It's added some things to the to-do. Typically what I would do is I would do an init command and have a look. Because ChatGPT is the boss, I'm just going to have it direct what's going on. So basically, we're going to use Next.js plus type script project with npm We're going to use Tailwind CSS. We're going to use Docker Compose. And I'm not even sure how to pronounce this. PostgreSQL. Anyway, I won't bore you with all that, but I do have a Playwright MCP set up, so it can do computer use stuff, but there's kind of a next level for testing. There's tools beyond the computer use stuff in Playwright that Claude can do, and we'll get views of that later, but it's a little more deep than just clicking on things and entering text and making sure that things work. It's looking behind the scenes. It's looking at like console messages, seeing if there's errors, seeing if there's weirdness that it needs to address. So I don't know much about coding. I am learning a lot, but I couldn't code my own programs for sure. But I'm of the opinion that this type of thing probably will be quite a bit less complicated than it is today in our future, in a couple years or 5 years or whatever. I believe that, we'll probably be able to say, I need a tool for this and it'll provide it. And we don't even have to go back and forth with the tools to create it. It'll just manage it for us. For example, I've been doing a lot with managing my home lab. Um, putting together a test environment as well so I can do things and share them with others on YouTube, that sort of thing. But um, really believe that it's going to be a whole lot not simpler, but just more. These tools will be more autonomous, and we won't have to actually watch what's going on and interact with them as much. Some of the work I do is I do manufacturing work and machine data, for example. We send it up to a server. We don't send all the data that we could, but this sort of thing really kind of interesting to me because if we did send all the machine data, we could be maybe a little more predictive about what problems could occur. So if something happens in a production environment where a machine breaks down, you might be able to monitor the machine data to understand that that state that you've experienced before is actually going to happen again if you don't do something. And so the idea is something goes down, you learn how to recover, you have that information, but ideally you understand with machine data, you know, is it going to happen again? There might be a pattern in the data that can trigger you to prevent things from happening. But sort of things I'm doing in my home lab, I can tell I have an admin set up with Claude where I go into it, it understands my home lab, and I can say set up port forwarding for the kids Minecraft server, for example, and it'll do that automatically. I can have it update those servers. I can have it give me an understanding if there's any concerns. I could say, hey, give me a health update. What's the storage situation look like? Is there any temperature concerns with, the CPU or any other components where we're monitoring temperature, that sort of thing. It's pretty slick. So because ChatGPT gives such a long prompt, Claude will spend a good amount of time on that, and there will be not a ton of back and forth, but basically the idea is that once Claude's done on its to-do, there will be a summary for ChatGPT to review, and ChatGPT may have questions. Typically it doesn't, but the idea is it might want evidence of something being implemented, and we might share a file with it or some sort of screenshot if it needs to see it. So basically what it's doing, it's building the scaffolding, basically the structure. Um, Ideally, when we're done, we'll have some sort of diagram showing that, documentation about what the front end looks like, what the back end looks like. Um, an example of the front end would be just, that's the user side of things, with the web application, how does it look? How does it function? What software is controlling that? How's it being controlled? Is it local in the browser? Is it on the server? I'm not an expert, so um, but if you want to be, have a conversation with AI. It can help you understand. So what are we working on? Add TanStack query and Zustlan. See, Zustlan I've heard about in a couple other projects, but I've never asked what the hell is Zustlan. So I've tinkered with the dashboard um, a while back, and um, older version, I think I was using like Sonnet 4. In this case, I'm using 4.5 Opus. Um, and wasn't super. I mean, I guess I was just tinkering with it, but the idea is that I didn't get very far. I had some functionality, but it was ugly. I think nowadays, um, the latest updates, Opus 4.5, Claude 5.2, thinking, Claude Codex, which I'm not using here, but the idea is that these can not figure it out for me, but help me understand what I want better. So, I might say, hey, I want a dashboard that can control Home Assistant, but I don't want it to be in Home Assistant. I want to see my cameras, control lights, that sort of thing. But I can ask it to ask clarifying questions. You could do this before, but it's a little bit better at understanding or asking the right questions to get a better understanding of what it is you want. Alright, so it's got us running it already. I think it's doing testing. So doing a server health test. So it says endpoint is working. Let me verify homepage. Again, it's using Playwright to understand that. So it's saying, hey, things are good. Now it's going to do a Playwright smoke test. This could be behind the scenes or right in our face kind of thing. It'll load up Chrome and navigate it. But like I said earlier, it's a little bit more complicated sometimes where, I wouldn't say complicated, but it goes a little deeper. Playwright is more than just computer use or browser use. There's more to it, and I only learned that today, so I can't speak intelligently to it, but the idea is that it'll run the application, it can take a look at the console and understand if there are errors, weirdness, and address those things for you, which is pretty cool. Again, the idea is that I want to be able to do deploy dashboards, connect to dashboards using a variety of devices. And what I've been doing lately is setting up a first gen Echo Show connected directly to, connected, let me kind of rephrase that. I'm using something called Fully Kiosk, and it connects to my Home Assistant dashboard. And it works pretty good. Perhaps I don't know how to give you views of that. Actually, I could do it this way. But the problem is, like cameras, it'll get laggy after a while, and I've been doing some things to optimize the Echo. Um, you can have it automatically reboot. I don't know if there's a memory leak, but it slows things down. What I'm trying to do is create a dashboard where you don't have to necessarily reboot, that it just works. I'll give you a view of that real quick. I'm going to take this off screen first. Bring up Home Assistant. I'll go on Echo Show. Close this. So this is my Echo Show dashboard that I use. Whoops. I screwed it up. So it's kind of, it's not fully, it's kind of neat. But it's not fully fleshed out yet. But the idea is that, it's got its own aspect ratio and you can only get so much on it. This view is about all I can get on the Echo Show 8. I did pick up one from eBay, a 5-inch one. I think might be nice for the desk where it can control I got a TV for a monitor, so I can touch a button, navigate that, change inputs, that sort of thing. But in this case, I talked about the cameras. It works pretty good for cameras. So I got the front door view. I got the other cameras. This controls the TV, although because I migrated over to OPN Sense recently, I don't have full control of the TV yet because the IP changed. I need to fix that. But my motivation initially for this was the in-laws, um, really the father-in-law specifically, is asking for methods of controlling his technology in a simple manner. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to learn how to set that up for myself so I can deploy that at their place. So anyways, that's what it looks like. But just to give you an idea, I can, I don't want to turn lights out on people, but I can turn them on myself, I suppose. It gives you the state of the lights when you touch them. So I want the same functionality in the dashboard I'm trying to create here, but I'm not sure how far we'll get tonight, I guess my point. I just turned the basement lights back on in the rhythm mode, so it's kind of a warm temperature and brightness is relatively low. Alright, Alright, so the first ticket is complete. This is the summary, and I'll have to provide this to Claude Code, or not Claude Code, ChatGPT. Ticket 1. Hang on, I'm going to mute for a minute. Okay, sorry. It's a mild interruption. All right, so what I need to do is I need to take this and provide it to ChatGPT. I'll just paste it in there. Wonder if there's any questions. I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, be sure to capture and communicate when I should test the application. Oh, by the way, this is my recording tool that I made. Although it needs some love. My voice to text tool using Whisper is pretty awesome. There's kind of a short video out there of how I built that, and I shared the prompt that so you could build it yourself. There's people out there that are earning, because there are definitely people that want to pay for this sort of thing and don't want to mess around with building their own. But I'm not that guy. But I do want to enhance the tool, and I will be doing that at some point. The idea is that Claude reported out on what he got done, and ChatGPT is, whoops, going to provide next steps. Gotta make sure I'm not shrinking this down too far for anybody that happens to be watching. Alright, so ticket is accepted. That check-in hits every gate we asked for. This is good. When you should test the application, your cadence, test point A, right now, sanity check. So install, run dev. This is for Claude. So Claude's not asking for the test, so I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to copy the next ticket. So basically, I asked ChatGPT to bust this up in tickets and give Claude work to do. Claude will report back, and ChatGPT will identify any concerns and we'll address them, but I wonder if I can run dev. Let me try it. I'm curious. Let's see what's going on. So if I go to my project folder, which in this case is dashboards or something like that. So in here, if I right click, open in terminal, dashboards, I'll just do npm run dev. Yeah, it actually gave me, that's weird, strange network address. I'll do localhost. Yeah, nothing going on yet. All right, so I'm not worried about it because Claude's not saying it's ready. So we will just paste that prompt for ticket 2 into Claude Code. And again, I'm using VS Code if you can't tell. All right, so there's security gate. Security is always good. I'm doing things local right now. Not sure I'll ever share this, but if I do, I'll put it on a repo that is public. If people are interested in it, we'll see. Let's have a look at the ticket. It's ticket 2, Prisma data model, migrations, Docker stack verification. We're going to implement the PRDs, conceptual data model, dashboard tile, Prisma, and apply migration stuff, blah, blah, blah. So it's interesting. Maybe I can full screen it and actually see it. No, can't see it. It's a little weird. Implement or import security gate. That's a must do. There is an actively exploited critical RCE and React server components. So it looks like it's documented somehow here. I confirm that the React next version resolve that issue per upstream guidance. If package versions are affected, upgrade to fixed version. And no. So it's pretty cool. I mean, the idea of understanding, you know, what the current security issues are and addressing those is nice. So the idea though really is if you deploy this, you know, on the internet, you're going to want to make sure that for the tech stack you're using, you're getting notified when there are security concerns that you should address. So this is just a breakdown of those things. So one thing I should do is put in a chat message that talks about what we're doing here, because people just join in the middle of the stream. They're not necessarily going to know, but I'll repeat myself because I think probably it's a smart thing to do. The thing we're doing here is just using ChatGPT as the project lead to ask Claude Code to code the tool that I ultimately want, which is a dashboard that isn't necessarily, well, and the problem is that I don't know if the dashboards in Home Assistant, they're cool, don't get me wrong, but I think they can be cooler. And the idea is, could I build a better one or have AI build a better one? So when I show people, they're like, "Oh, I want that." Um, I don't know. I'm gonna find out. We shall see. Trying to unwrap a candy cane. Someone busted this candy cane. That's rude. I did this with Gemini earlier. Got another project I'm working on, and Gemini was killing it. Like, it didn't give as big of prompts like ChatGPT does. it did kind of shorter runs and got feedback more frequently, which I didn't hate because I'm sitting here the whole time watching it. Um, but um, it kind of got confused, um, mostly because I confused it, and I had a problem recovering from that confusion that, again, I caused. ChatGPT is better at recovering the, from my unclear expectations. Why it's doing that is I'm going to put a text in that, what do they call it? Like a waiting room message. Give me my waiting room comment. That way people that just pop in here will understand what the heck's going on. I think maybe the description and that'll cover that, but I think that works. So I'll add that to the chat. Hmm. 23 characters over the chat limit. Oops. So that puts me 23 characters over the chat limit. I think this will be more interesting once I get an application that I can screw around with. So people are like, oh, text is flying by. That's super interesting. All right. It's not starting soon. It's going on now. Let's try this one. So I'll do that, and then I can pin it, hopefully. We'll see. Pin message. There we go. Totally pinned. So we're waiting on ticket 2. Ticket 2. Hopefully we'll have something to tinker around with while it's coding, but it's basically tightening up some security concern that people are using to actively exploit React server components. I mean, the popular ones typically become targets. Oh, we're doing Docker stuff now. Wait for Docker desktop to start. See if it gets hung up, because it looks like I might have to set up an account. So running Docker local on my PC. But once I get to a certain point, I'll have it put it on my development server, my web server that's running on Proxmox. Seems like it's making progress though, so I don't have to create an account. We're validating Docker composed stack. And then it's going to run Playwright. Smoke test. I guess I don't know what smoke test is. So I've been tinkering a lot last few days, and I haven't hit the wall of out of basically the limit on my Claude Code use. So hopefully that's the case tonight. I'll have to set, I see ticket 3 should start a server-side HA token handling plus minimal entities list. I'll have to set up a token. We'll see how that goes. I think the fun part will be when we start tinkering with the dashboard. Maybe I should have got it to the point where we actually had a dashboard to screw around with. That's probably more interesting to folks, but I can take the video, chop it up, and for those that want to see what I did and not see me actually doing it or AI doing it, I'm hoping it's super cool. We shall see. Yeah, the to-dos that ChatGPT gives, like I said earlier, is quite a bit longer. And it takes Claude quite a bit more time to work through them than when Gemini provides work. Gemini breaks them down into smaller pieces, which I don't know yet if that's a a good thing or not. Um, but I'm working on another project where I confused Gemini. I couldn't recover from it, or didn't want to take the time to recover from it, but I did spend some time doing it. I decided to go over to ChatGPT and fired Gemini, said, hey, ChatGPT, take this over for me. And it got a working application going. Um, it's not necessarily where I want it as far as functionality, but it is working. And so tomorrow morning I'm going to actually work on that. But that project is it's a greeting card uh, project where you can make your own, print your own. So you can just you based on whatever it is you're printing on, you can add your own images, or you can tweak those images. You can, with AI if you want. So I tied it to um, Gemini, the API there. I've used up my free credits. I haven't um, provided any billing details, but I'm going to do this. I wanted to use Nano Banana to um, generate images, generate text or enhance text that folks add to it. Um, Really, the motivation is that I want to provide a specific my headset turned off for a minute. I want to provide a specific Christmas card to the wife, and I'm not uh, a designer, like a art designer, but I do have a concept and some visuals that I can provide that will get me where I need to be as far as the art goes. I'll have Gemini um, create that, and then I'm going to provide the card. I think she'll think it's cool. Um, I mean, I guess I'll get into the details. The idea is that back in the day, back in 2010, we used to play a lot of words with friends, and that's basically how we got to know each other. And so, what I want to do is the art on the um, front of it. I'm going to do some sort of Christmas theme, but it's going to touch on some of the topics from back in the day, and she'll think that that's cool. Um, and then I'm going to put an image of her Christmas present in there because her Christmas present isn't an item, it's an event. Um, so, anyway, that's my motivation for that project. And I'm not going to share that event because I don't want her to get that gift spoiled. Man, this sucker's going and going and going. So one of the things I haven't done, like I've set up some skills, and the skills are really tied to my home automation, some of the rules that I'm asking Claude to do. Like sometimes also I give Claude access to um, my home lab. Hang on, I might have to mute here for a second. Sorry. But basically, paths to um, Proxmox. I have it deploy things. The web server that I have going, Claude deployed for me, and it works pretty good. Um, I have it troubleshoot Home Assistant things for me. Um, I've had it create automations for me. It works really well for that stuff. I recently changed from Untangle to OpenSense and following instruction from ChatGPT, and I was using Claude to execute. I broke my network for like half a day. So I would say, go at things with caution. Truly understand what you're trying to do and what issues present themselves if you don't plan properly. But I've learned some lessons, and so I think moving forward, I'll make less of those mistakes. One tool that I created that I want to get back to is my voice to text tool. It works pretty good. I'll bring up Notepad. What I don't have it doing is cleaning up the text. But if I hit Control, I can start running my mouth, and when I hit any key on the keyboard, it will write that text to where the prompt is. So pretty cool. I do plan on having, feeding it to AI to clean up the text, and because, sometimes I'll just say filler words like or there be some silence, which it doesn't it doesn't put any silence in text. How would you do that? But it works really good. So I put out a video, basically saying, I don't know. The title is, hey, why use Whisper Flow, which costs money when you can use this. But it's basically someone or a group of people that did this sort of thing and put out an application for people who can't or don't want to do this sort of thing, and they enjoy it. But I can build my own, so why not? So like I said, I do plan on cleaning this up and having it output the text in such a way where it's, the grammar's right, the punctuation's right, that sort of thing. Which is interesting because sometimes it does it like it did there. But it did not here. But yeah, I used to use the Windows voice to text tool, which is pretty darn good. But I got this to a point where um, it works more consistently than the Windows tool. I do use the larger model, and it uses my GPU. I have a nice GPU, a 4090, so it can handle the larger model. So it's not going to be great for everybody as far as speed, but it still will work using a CPU or a slower GPU, but it might not be as snappy. Man, this sucker's doing a lot of work. So if I had skills set up defining the tech stack, meaning do I want to use specific libraries or technology for that sort of thing. Um, it can be a little quicker in processing this information, but tonight I'm just winging it. I guess I should apologize for the background noise. The daughter's on the computer, and she tends to get loud. I'm not too worried about it. Hey, Epic Zeus. I haven't used anti-gravity yet, but I'm super interested in it. I got an extended period of time off from work, so I should make a point of trying that out. Maybe I'll do this tomorrow. I am in a discounted version of Gemini right now. Um, so why not? I should be trying it out. Any interesting projects that you're working on? I use mine for some work stuff. I do, home lab stuff. In this case, I'm kind of interested in getting a dashboard that's a little nicer than what I got. I have an Echo Show. I'll show you. That's rocking this dashboard right now. Um, and it's nice, but I don't like the sidebar. Um, and actually, it doesn't show on my Echo Show because I have that turned off. And I don't like the top bar. And so what I would like is these buttons. Maybe I have a camera button that brings up all my cameras, that sort of thing. And so I want to utilize the screen, a little more of the screen than I currently can. So this is one of my motivations. The other motivation is my in-laws, father-in-law specifically. He wants some stuff that makes navigating, like he's got this wicked home theater system that's really cool, but they're getting up there in years, and they got, I mean, literally, they got like 5 different remotes and not a good universal remote for all that stuff. And I figured maybe I can create a dashboard for the things they do. I mean, they're pretty, they're in their ruts, I guess, what I'll say. And so I can create, one button to launch and load and the things they want to watch. It would be nice. One of the other projects that he's working on, he has a wood shop, really nice wood shop. It's got a bunch of different pieces of equipment, table saw, drill press, other fancy things, planers, blah, blah, blah. And he's got a central vacuum, and so he's got to manually close gates to make sure that the vacuum is focused on what he's doing, and he wants to automate that. And so he's created the gates, and he's got these little cylinders that will open and close them, but he doesn't know how to send a signal to them to open and close. And so we're working on that. We're going to use Home Assistant. I set up a server at his place, and basically he's buying some hardware, and we're going to try to get that set up in the next couple weeks, which would be cool. Oh, wow, I get to interact. So it's going to do some playwright testing. This might be interesting. See if it loads anything. I imagine it will. It's like all tests passed. All right, well, it's done with the playwright. We don't get to see anything interesting. It's funny. All right. So it looks like it's time to. Yep, it's time to provide ChatGPT, Claude's boss, with the summary here. So we've set up a database, set up Docker, health endpoint, add a DB connectivity check, did a test, we updated a package, downgraded, that's interesting, downgraded Prisma 6.8.0 v7 had engine type issues with turbo pack. Remove some config because it was specific to version 7. So we ran some commands, providing the results, how to run, just fine. We'll run that later. So it considered the security issue, made sure that it wasn't exposed to said issue. All right, let's give this information to ChatGPT and see what ChatGPT would like to do. And actually, which is kind of neat, said proposed ticket 3. So ChatGPT has an understanding of what ticket 3 is, but would probably consider what Claude is recommending. All right, Claude. Let's see what's happening. All right, so it says it's accepted. One correction on the security gate so we don't get surprised later. You're right that this issue was fixed, but React later published a follow-up that fixes were backported to the, oh, interesting. Since you're on React 19.2.3, that's a good place to be. Now that ticket 2 is done, Docker plus B migration. Use this as your real stack validation windows. Just run this at any time. Prompt for Claude. All right, let's take a look at this. Implement server-side CRUD for dashboard API routes and a minimal UI that lists, I think it's talking about, I'm not going to be able, even if I go full screen, you can't see it. But the idea is it's going to create a minimal list of what's available in Home Assistant or from Home Assistant. So we're going to add some router handlers, some error handling, citing stuff. We're going to create a minimal page, implement some guidance, keep it simple. We're going to test with Playwright MPC. Test hygiene, what does that mean? Use unique dashboard names, timestamp, suffix. Clean up any created dashboard. Acceptance checks. Check-in required, so it's going to asking for a summary. So let's feed Claude that to do. The other stuff was for me, which might be interesting. Although while Claude's working, I don't know if I want to do this stuff. The idea is that I would ask Claude to basically launch it for me. I don't know. That makes sense. But I'm just going to let Claude do the work for now. And when it's time to test, if you want, ticket 4 should be tile CRUD plus attached tiles to dashboard plus minimal rendering. Still no HA calls yet, Home Assistant calls. Looks like this one's going to be a little faster than the previous one. So I'm opening up Epic Zeus's channel. So most of his stuff is pretty old. Pretty cool though. Good decent amount of views on some of these. So we did a compression. Claude, after a while, the context gets too big. He'll do some compression and start over. Some people create a new chat session for phases or tickets, pieces of the project, and maybe I should do that. I haven't tried it yet, but maybe I will. Verifying lint type check test passes. And then it's going to check in with ChatGPT. It's going to run some stuff. I can ask it, say, hey, when do I get to have a look at the tool? I should do that. So I think one of the things I want to do, like if I go into my Homar dashboard, um, I have, the heck's it called? Portainer. Should probably take it over here. Logged in. I don't know what my login and password is for Portainer in this browser. Thought I did. Let me see if I can do that. But Portainer is basically a connection to my Docker stuff. Interesting. Can't connect to it. Oh well. But the idea is that for me, it's a easier way to manage Docker things, and so I'll ask it to connect this Docker situation to Portainer. That way I can go and see if it's running. I can launch it if I need to. If there's a problem, I can try to solve it. All right, ticket 3 is done. Let's give this information to ChatGPT. And then we'll come back over here. Basically, it did API routes. So for the dashboards, UI page with create form and delete buttons. Did some tests. Basically saying that the verification's passed. It's providing test instructions. All right. So what does ChatGPT say? When should you test? Right now, since the stack is already running. All right. Let me ask Claude to provide. Is the stack running? Can I actually have a look and test myself? This is showing unhealthy. All right, so we'll go to dashboards and just have a look. So this is what the app looks like. It's my first look as well. It's a test dashboard. Let's click it. Oh, we can't click it. Test. Great dashboard. All right. Yeah, there's not much here yet. But it is alive. Okay. Mildly interesting. Just a stale health check. The app itself seems to be responding. Okay. So, back over to ChatGPT. When should you test? All right, I tested. Prompt for Claude, ticket 4. Tile plus CRUD, minimal tile rendering, no HA yet. Just going to add this stuff. Scope and boundaries. Tiles only, relationships to dashboards, minimal rendering, no drag and drop yet. That's ticket 5. API requirements, Next.js, app router, route handlers, tiles, collection for dashboard. Okay. All right, let's copy it, paste it. Claude to work. So next after this, ticket 5, React grid layout, compatible gate, and edit mode. Drag, resize, layout. Okay, so we'll be able to tinker when we get done with ticket 5. Right now we're working on ticket 4. Ticket 3 was pretty quick. So hopefully 4 and 5 are quick as well, relatively speaking. Imagine at this point this is a little boring. Waiting. But I'm going to keep plugging away at this one because I really want a cool dashboard. I like to, like this dashboard that I was showing earlier. My Home Assistant Echo Show 8 display. I like it to be able to do things like, if someone's at the front door, automatically show me that video. Maybe show me the still of the person it captured. I use Frigate. Frigate's pretty cool. So the idea is that it quickly recognizes a person, and I can trigger things off that, meaning person detected. I have the video play of that person on my Google Home Hub, whatever it's called, in the kitchen. So I can say, oh yeah, someone just dropped a package off. I want to do the same sort of thing here. Which definitely is doable, but you know, go next level. My it's funny, my headset cuts off. Like I'm running my mouth, but if it's not playing anything, it turns off after a while, which is mildly annoying. Ticket forward's complete already. Let's go ahead and just feed it to Claude right away. Or ChatGPT right away. We'll get Claude going. And ticket 5. Title Grid Layout Builder with React Grid Layout. Goal replace static tile list with draggable resizable grid using React Grid Layout. Let's go back to the app and refresh it. Tiles. Add tile. Camera. Add. That's cool. So it's not drag and drop yet, but you can see the idea. App link. Section header. Okay. We got a little something, huh? Test dashboard. So maybe I could have done more with this one. Yeah. Entity. Camera. App link. So app link is like, you know, if I want to connect to this, I could do that here. So I could have one dashboard for it. Does it resize out? Yeah, it resizes. So I could do like mobile. Nifty. Definitely want a dark mode, right? Okay. Oh, let's get the next ticket copied into Claude. We'll walk the ticket here real quick too, but let's get Claude going. So grid layout builder, drag, resize, plus persist layout. Goal, replace the static tile list, which we just looked at. So that's cool. Critical risk gate. React grid layout has ongoing compatibility complaints with modern React. Can't really see. If it blocks progress, primary attempt, React grid layout, fallback, a maintained fork such as React grid layout next. Document which you choose and why in the check-in. So that's cool. So it's saying, hey, tell me what you're doing. Scope boundaries, only grid layout plus persist. No advanced editor, no tile config form. Persist only on drag drop state, on resize stop, not on every mouse move. So that's cool. So it's an efficient, it's not going to overload the system, if you will, with constantly understanding what's going on with the mouse. UI requirements, dashboard detail page, render tiles inside a grid, add edit layout toggle on off. Nifty. Implement or implementation notes. So Next.js, app router hydration, grid must be client component, use client, avoid hydration mismatch, render grid only after mount, or use a client wrapper component that waits for the mount before rendering. Playwright MCP test must be robust. Add tests that prove persistence. I like that. Create dashboard, create one tile, turn on edit mode, drag tile to a new position, reload page, confirm that the still renders at the new XY. That's cool. So it's a smart test. Is it good enough? I don't know. But at least it's thinking about the basic function of drag and drop. And then it'll do a check-in. It's already at the drag resize test, which is cool. we'll do the drag and drop text test next. After it's done testing it out, verify lint type check test pass. And then check in. Now we need to update the existing tile test since the UI changed. Delete button is now only visible in edit mode, and container is now grid instead of tile list. Oh, this is stupid. I did not realize that my title's fucked up. Huh. That sucks. Let's see, live, Claude Code in action, building. Oh, that sucks. That really, really sucks. I'm going to stop this one and start the other one. That's a bummer, man. Let's edit. Actually, let me do it this way. Open a new tab. Edit this one. Such a bummer. Save. That stinks. I didn't realize I had the wrong title. Oh well. It is what it is. It's right now. I am an ID10T. I seen the video going and I thought, yeah, we're good. But the title is completely wrong. And the description. I've updated them. But now my chat that I put in, I guess it fits now. Okay. So next we'll be testing the drag and drop functionality. Ticket 5 lands cleanly. 6 should be tile config editor, JSON editor, and type specific UI stubs plus validation. Not sure what type specific UI stubs means. Tile editor. I'm assuming that that might mean that we can connect it to things. We'll see. Meaning, can I control a light? Can I connect to my camera? Another project I've been recently tinkering with is it's called over painting or uncropping. So taking an image that doesn't fit your aspect ratio and basically creating a tool that grows the image to that aspect ratio. You could crop and have it fit if you want, but it doesn't always work. So it's one tool I've been tinkering with a little bit. There's, Canva, you could do it. There's plenty of tools out there, if people are paying for them. But the idea is that I would create one that super low cost, because it's still connected to an API, which there's costs associated with it, but it's like super cheap. It's like not even a full penny. But when you're testing it over and over again, you might be charged some pennies. What step are we on here? Da, 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 da. Where's the to-do? I haven't seen the to-do in forever now. We're working on the second to the last one. The last one's really just checking in, so we're working on the last to-do. Then it'll provide a summary. We'll feed it to ChatGPT. It's doing the playwright tests. Which I expected to see the playwright test, but it's doing it behind the scenes. Dun, 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 dun. Waiting. Waiting patiently. Maybe not so patiently. All right, ticket 5 is complete. We're going to do some drag and dropping. As it finishes its summary, we'll feed it to ChatGPT. I like how it's proposing what the next ticket is. That way, ChatGPT can make considerations. All right, let's copy the summary. We'll drop it into ChatGPT. The boss. We'll see what the boss wants to tell Claude. Ticket 5 accepted. One small reality check. For the record, React Grid layout and its depths, I think dependencies, have had compatibility churn across React major versions, and TypeScript types often lag. So your type wrapper approach is totally normal and pragmatic fix when you should test now when Docker is running. So I could definitely do that. I'm going to have a look at the app, refresh it. Oh yeah, we can do drag and drop. Nice. And so we can resize. Oh, very cool. So how small can we go? I like it. So I want to be able to do, images in these things, right? I want to be able to do a graph showing energy use or showing the temperature. Yeah, this is pretty slick. So obviously it's basic. It's be you know what I'd like to do is be able to select all these, maybe group them together and say, hey, this dude needs to be a group, right? So it might be a group of lights, a related camera or a sensor, that sort of thing. And so I can do edit layout. So I can delete these bad boys. So I could say, hey, goodbye, mofo. I can add an entity. How about another app link? Bring it here. Yeah, I like the highlight too. What I don't necessarily like is that it wants to be up high with the other tiles. So I guess the idea is you got to fill in all the spaces. I would like to be able to do a Command C, Command or Control C, Control V, right? So add tile, add tile. It's interesting that it's willing to do it in a row like that in the first column rather. But if I wanted to bring it down here, I can't. So I could put a background, right? And I want part of the background to show, and so I might want this dude over here because I want that background to show. Interesting. Super cool. Oh, you can go pretty tiny. I'd like to be able to go half the height as well. That's still neat. I cannot complain. I'm pleased with what I'm seeing here. Yeah, I'm liking it. Okay. Five, accepted, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we're testing it. Automated gate PowerShell. PowerShell, interesting. I'll just play right. All right, ticket six, not sex. My apologies. Let's walk it real quick. Not going to touch on everything. So the goal, add inspector, config editor for a selected tile and render type appropriate content in view mode. Persist config changes via patch API tiles. Scope boundaries, config editor, rendering only, no home assistant, WebSockets yet. I don't think the home assistant connectivity is going to happen tonight. So I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to go. But I will definitely pick up where I'm leaving off and make sure that it's available for people to watch if they want to see it. Camera tiles. Yeah, I'm interested in that. So definitely want to see one of the cameras on the page. App links. So app links are basically basic URLs, right? Connecting to, I don't know. So I have Homar, which is a dashboard itself, right? But the idea is that the basic URLs, it could be my Proxmox connection, Home Assistant, this app that I'm working with, I could link to itself, which would be weird, but you get the idea, right? Any of the apps that I'm tinkering with. So section header title, that's cool. So it's going to be basically, let me bring it up, right? So you take one of these and you could say, these are my cameras, and then I put my cameras below it, right? Which would be neat. Be interesting to see if these maintain the camera aspect ratio. That sort of thing drives me crazy if your cameras or your images are squished. But yeah, it's totally working. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so what else? Clicking a tile selects it. Select ID, selected tile ID state. Show right side panel or model. The tile selected. And not much more. It's stable selectors. I wonder if I can do multi-selection. Because I can't do like a click, drag, and select multiples. But can I control click? No, I can't. I really like the visual though you're getting though. It's like I see you interacting with me, but I ain't gonna do nothing except stay lit up if you have me selected so I can drag into a new location. I'm a little bit bummed. Oh, where did that go? Oh, no, but if I move this and then this, oh, that stuff stays. So columns stay, but I can't bring anything down here to, like if I pulled this, the others are going to collapse basically up. See what I'm saying? It'd be nice if they would stay put and not collapse like that. Huh. That's cool though. I could dig it. I really do like it. I mean, I'm this sort of thing in Home Assistant. I'm dying for. It's just easier layouts, resize, and yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty slick. I wish, like I said, I wish you could copy and paste. I want another one this size, and I want it to be an app link. So what do I got to come over here, create an app link that's too big, resize it, bring it over here. Less clicks to get to where you want to be is my preference. But hey, nifty. Oh, it's asking for input. That's the first time in a minute. Yeah, let's go ahead. Do your thing, brah. Do your thing. Oh, there was a conversation compressed or whatever it's called. So, yeah, ticket 6 is about understanding what the tiles are for. I don't know if we'll actually be connecting them to things yet, such as a Home Assistant entity or a camera, but I'm hoping so. Ticket 7, though, is setting up the Home Assistant connection. Fake entity fallback. So maybe I can make that fun. Fake entity, like I'm going to connect the light and that light breaks. It'd be nice to have a message that says, look here, mofo. Shit ain't working. Maybe it just should be some sort of broke message. Look at me, I'm broke. Maybe, maybe. Let me see. what step is this on? All right, so it's playwright persistence test means I'm configuring this tile. So we know that you move a tile, you resize a tile, it'll stay put. You know what? I don't know that. So let me refresh. Well, bam. Oh yeah. It's weird that it wiggles, but whatever. Um, but it persists, which is nifty. Let me grab that, copy, close it, open it up, paste, go back. It's still there. I like it. So definitely need a dark mode, right? Um, but the next thing is, okay, so more details about what the tile is. Am I connecting? It's weird, my headset cuts off because I'm not listening to anything. Although I'm running my mouth. Imagine someone loads this on their phone. They're like, this is tiny. I can't see. Should load up my phone and have a look. Yeah, especially if you have the chat open. That's crazy. Go full screen. No? Close the chat. I mean, you really can't see much. It's just a bunch of text scrolling by. This is not exciting. But once I get into designing the dashboard and showing people what's up. So this is what I have. I want to see. I get annoyed when I go to my phone. I set up a widget and I said basically the widget's for temperature, and it's just an iPhone. You can hate on that, I suppose, but I don't care. The idea, the problem is I got a widget where I just want to see the temperature on my lock screen. And I see the temperature and then the forecasted temperature, like the high for the day and the low for the day and the current temperature. But when it's raining or snowing, all of a sudden I don't get that information. It drives me crazy. So I want to build the things that don't drive me crazy. That's the idea. So this, dashboard on the wall, dashboard on my Echo Show. Show me what I want to see when I'm getting ready for work. So I know if I need to start the car, warm it up, that sort of thing. Yeah, I want to do more with this app. I gotta say though, I'm pretty impressed. I'll put in the description once I understand better. What is this library we're using? It doesn't resize for automatically, which is truly, I guess, what I don't care because I want to design dashboards for specific displays. So that being said, might be a feature I need to add, right? So my monitor is a 4K TV. Aspect ratio is it 16 by 9? I don't even know. But I want a dashboard for this, and maybe it's on my second monitor, which is quite a bit smaller. I just want the dashboard to show, you know, I want the layout to look nice on the display it's designed for. I don't necessarily want it to automatically change position when I resize it for all displays. But I might want that for some displays. For example, mobile. So everybody's phone's slightly different. And you might want some sort of flexibility. So perhaps there needs to be a mobile version of this. And maybe ChatGPT will decide on that for us. Oh, so ticket 6 is done. So I'm kind of excited to get to 7 because 7's about at least starting to talk about that Home Assistant connection. Let's see. So did some tests. Pass. Not talking about any issues. It hasn't for this entire project. So ticket 7, proposal, Home Assistant WebSocket integration. I think they're aligned because ChatGPT was talking about this. Server-side Home Assistant config URL plus long-lived access token. So I'll have to set that up. Don't know. Yeah, I probably could show that. Might as well go to it. So if I go to settings, and then is it system? It's like a long-lived token. It's going to tell me where to go. Yeah, I'll come back to this. All right, so let's see what ChatGPT has to say. So accepted, you delivered exactly what we needed. Server-side config validation by tile type plus inspector UI. Actually, let's have a look. Let me bring back. This is a browser. Open up the app. Let's refresh. See if it breaks it. Oh, it doesn't look like it's running currently. Okay, that's fine. Let's just get this going. It's saying I should check it out, but it isn't running. All right, I gotta ask Claude. Hey, I want to test this out. Is it currently running? I tried to go to the link that you previously shared, and it's not. Oh, he's totally starting to back up for me. What a nice guy. So we'll have a look. I don't know that it's going to look any different than previously. See, there's a couple other people that joined, so we'll give them a view of it. All right, now it's up and running. I clicked it. I swear I did. All right. Oh, so these are all the tests it's done. So I can create a dashboard. I'll do that. Create a dash. Oh, I gotta give it a name. We'll call it WTF. Create a dashboard. There's WTF. We'll click on it. And then the idea is that we can add entities. I'm assuming this would be, like Home Assistant entities, cameras, probably obvious. App link, which is basically just a URL. And a section header would be a title for, a section, and you have tiles under that. For example, you could say security cameras, and then you could put all your cameras underneath it. So, but you can add this, then that, then this, and that, and you can move them, right? So we got a camera, an entity, an app link. How about a section header? Which I think that's what that was. No header text. Oh, dude. Check me out. We'll save. Oh, looks a little funny. All right. And then I can say, I definitely want to be able to have it smaller, right? So maybe half the height, even less, but that's the idea. And so I could say, I want this longer, right? And then I would, or maybe I have it go across because I imagine my cameras will be bigger, maybe even wider than that. It'd be nice if it would auto detect your camera aspect ratio and size itself accordingly. But that's the idea. And so, oh, so you can app link. Oh, nifty. Does that actually work? Let me grab this. Actually, let me do my echo show. Go here. Put that there. Just say echo. Is this the app link? Yeah. Save. Echo. It works. You know, simple pleasures. But so, obviously, this isn't, you know, it's nice in concept, right? Like I want to make real small buttons if I want to. And change the colors and maybe do an image. Maybe I have an image of an echo show. I don't know. But so I could do like one of my cameras here. Like I got, you can load it up in a web page, right? All right, let's get Claude going. Kind of excited for the Home Assistant connectivity. So that's cool. We're making progress. Let's make sure. So yeah, I tested it. I like your ticket concept, but we need to keep it testable without regarding. We have a PRD, and I showed that early on, but we got some rules for ChatGPT, and I also shared them for. Man, where's PRD? Here it is. With Claude, right? Basically saying this is the steps we're going to take, right? We're on step 7, and there is 16 steps. And I don't think I'm going to get to step 16 tonight, but I want to see some Home Assistant connectivity or some activity. I want to see the state of something. I want to control something. So we'll see. We shall see. All right, so when you, Mike, it knows my name. I'm Mike, by the way, nice to meet you. Should test ticket 7 once in mock mode so you're sure the UI works even without Home Assistant. Once you're with your real Home Assistant URL plus token to confirm actual connectivity. Yeah. This for me is kind of a milestone. I got a variety of things I want to work on, but I think this connects to a lot of people, right? And so, I'm trying to get subscribers, I'm trying to get views. Um, the idea is that, well, I guess it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, if you have ideas, if you have a problem you want solved, and you think I could help with that, this sort of thing I find fun. And so I would be absolutely thrilled to help you solve a problem, help you build something. Maybe you don't want to do this. I imagine because you're here, you're interested, and you might want to do something like this. I'm hoping I can have something to share for free for people to use when I'm done. When I'm done with this, I'll put it on GitHub. I'll show people how to implement it, that sort of thing. But for now, I'm just going to keep it local. It's not worth anything yet. But again, let me bring it up. this is the dashboard that I use for my Echo Show. I've only recently got it going, so it's not necessarily perfect for what I want to do. This left bar does not show. I use a browser called Fully Kiosk to connect to it. And Fully Kiosk, um, the link I use omits this. I can't omit the top because there's not enough real estate for these buttons. But what I want to do is I want to build my own dashboard and lay it out where it's not so much a bar up here, but more of this stuff. And it's just, it'll, I think it'll look nicer. And I can use more of the real estate on the screen. It's an 8-inch screen. It's a decent size. I bought a second one from eBay. I got a 5-inch version coming. I plan on giving the 5-inch version to the wife so she can control her office stuff, where I'm giving the 8-inch version to my father-in-law so he can control things in his house. I want to simplify his life. And so I'm really trying to get to the point where the things I'm putting together are not complex. They just work. And if they don't, for some reason, say something requires internet to work or a cable goes bad or whatever, the system will alert me to um, take care of that situation for the in-laws or for the wife. And maybe I can get to it before they even know that it's a problem. That's the idea. What step are we on? After this one, we'll be halfway there. Update entity tile to display. So we're doing HA mock. And then at some point, we'll have to do a long-lived token, I think it's called, or a long-lived key. We'll see. We shall see. I do like where it's at, though. Is it still going? Yeah, it's working on them, so. Yeah, if I refresh this one, it'll break. Because it's working on it. But I definitely want these to be configurable to smaller heights. And maybe I want to center the text. Maybe I want to resize the text. An example of that would be where I could go here and I could do a heading. And there's different size headings. So I could say subtitle, right? So this is the height basically. If I hit sub, it's smaller. And so you can see it there. So I can move it up here if I want, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so I definitely want, I don't want it as big. But maybe I'll get that feature without even asking. But I want to be able to do a background. I want to, a web page background. I want to be able to do an image or a background in any tile. If I put an image in it, I don't want it to be, I I don't want to lose that aspect ratio. I don't want squished or stretched images because that would be annoying. So we're doing the last checks, then we're going to report in with ChatGPT. Once in mock mode, so you're sure that the UI works with even without Home Assistant. Once your real Home Assistant URL plus token set to confirm actual connectivity. So I'm not sure what this means. Once your should you test ticket 7? Yeah, we'll see. So it should be kicking out the summary for ChatGPT pretty soon. As long as we don't run out of time with Claude Code. I haven't hit that wall in a while. It used to be like 4 or 5 hours. I've put in a good amount of time with Claude Code today. So we'll see. If we hit a wall, I'll definitely capture the rest of this process and put a edited version out there of what I'm doing. All right, so all 19 tests passed. Let me update the to-do and provide the check-in summary. So I think what I want to do is get to the point where I can interact with Home Assistant. For sure, that's kind of a milestone I want to get to. All right, I think that's it. Usually has a little blurb about, doing the check-in at the end. But so we'll get this to ChatGPT so it can start processing the information, give us next steps. So it's saying I can go and have a look. So this is all the tests it has done. Which is cool. It's evidence that it's actually doing something using Playwright. Right? So I'll just do another test, create dashboard. Go to said dashboard, we'll add an entity, a camera, app link, section header. Oh, look at that. It's doing the thing that I wanted it to do. I was complaining. Oh, I can't bring it down here though. I want to be able to bring it down here, but I can do half spaces, I guess, which is cool. All right. We're missing a section header. So we can edit that section header. We've done this before, but header, save. You can resize. All right. I can't make it shorter, which I want. Which is interesting because I'm adding to the layout and I can edit the layout, kinda. I don't know what this means. This means I can delete things. And then if I save it, I open it up in another tab. It didn't save the configuration, which is interesting. That's a problem. I'm not too concerned about it yet. All right, accepted. This is the right v1 server-side proxy in mock mode. Tan stack polling entity tile live state, and you accept the token off client. When you should test now. Mock mode. Should I bring up the situation? Alright, so HA service calls are powerful. We should start with a constrained surface area, toggle only for 3 domains before we add more general button tiles. Alright, we'll go through this. So I'm going to give this to Claude. Claude will get going. What are we going to do? Surface calls, V1, toggle support for entity tiles. So it says mockable. I'm not sure what that means. I guess mockable means that it can act like it's doing the thing, but it's not actually doing the thing. Goals: enable safe Home Assistant service calls from the dashboard, server side only. Entity tiles for domains, lights, switch, input boolean, which is basically a sensor state. Should support a toggle action. Input boolean. Oh, so you could toggle the state of the thing. Okay, gotcha. So not necessarily a sensor, but a variable that will give you an understanding of the state of something. So you could say on, off, day, night, that sort of thing. Scope and boundaries. Only toggle for supported domains. Only via server-side API. Browser never sees HA token. This is good. You don't want, like if you're going to offer this up to people, it just kind of exposes your Home Assistant and they can do stuff with the token. You don't want that. You just want the functionality. Scope boundaries. Only toggle for supported domains. Only via server-side API. Keep it mockable for tests. No real Home Assistant required. No general purpose call. No general purpose call any service. UI yet. That can be in ticket 9. Okay, so we're going to get some Home Assistant functionality. I'm going to have to provide it with a little bit of detail. It's going to test with Playwright again, basically navigating the site, making sure things work, although it did miss an issue. Acceptance checks, and then it's going to do a summary and check-in. Proposed ticket 9, likely button tile for custom service calls with safe UI list. One thing I'm going to want to do is, with buttons, I'm going to want to use icons. All right, so I'll have to come up with a method of getting some icons to the application. Where's my link? See, it didn't save it. Maybe I didn't save it. Doesn't have a save button. Yeah, it's not saving the layout. So that's a bug. I'm going to mute for a minute. All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it at, 1:30 for me. So 10 minutes or so. We'll get through this last one. Is it? No, it's still going. Oh, we're on the last couple steps. Let me fix the unused variable warning. So hopefully after this, I'll get that Home Assistant. No, it's not running currently. That Home Assistant connectivity. Now let me rebuild and run tests. Rebuild in Docker stack. Waiting patiently. So I'm assuming it has it running. Yeah, it does have it running because it's doing tests. So if I go back to like the main page, this is the dashboard it's working with. Right, this is mine. I'm curious if it'll actually save the layout. I'm not sure. Maybe I need to put something here. It's weird. So not everything's moving, but just the last interactions I had. So maybe I need to ask for, I don't know if I want to save button. Probably prefer it to automatically save. Oh, it's done. Let's see, files touched, commands and results. So passed, it did some 24 playwright tests. Some mock modes running. Real HA mode, set in .env. Alright, so I can do that in my env file, which lives here. What do I gotta do? Home Assistant URL. So basically I gotta add these things. I could have said, hey, do this for me, but my URL, we'll just use my echo show, which is interesting. I'm not sure why it wants that. Maybe I should do the main URL. I'll do that. I'll leave the echo show out. Need my long-lived token, which I need to remember how to do this. It's probably under user. Security. Yep, it's in here for sure. Refresh tokens, authenticator. Here's the long lived. So I'll create a token. We'll call it, I don't know what the dashboard's name is, so we'll just call it dashboard. Hit OK. I'll copy it. close it. And if you can hack this thing, that'll be awesome. Whoops. I'll change it, but why? Oh, I think it's just because it's long. So good luck finding that. I'll save it, close it. I'm going to restart. So I'm going to tell it, first of all, let me my headset died again. Let me get this to ChatGPT. And I'm going to tell Claude, I've added the token, so go ahead and restart the application for me. Has it restarted yet? Claude has slowed down. Manual sanity. Fast. Switch mock switch. There it goes. There's the next steps for Claude. Alright, so it looks like it's up. Yep, it is up. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to start a new test. HA test. Create. Add entity. So I would need to understand what the entity is. So if I go here, what I'll do is I'll do my bench light. Bench. Let me get the light.bench. Light.bench label bench. So it's currently on. Not that you're going to see this. I'm going to toggle it. Yeah, it went off. All right, so that's cool. So I have, that's weird, so we'll have to tweak things. But I have that connectivity. Wonder how I could show you that it's actually working. Really don't have anything set up. Yeah, it's not going to be for today. But I got to the point where I want to get, and I really need to get to bed. It's 1:30 my time. If you wouldn't mind giving me a like and subscribe, I will get back at this in the morning, and I'm going to try to get this to a point where I'm really digging it. So I really do like the progress that I've made tonight. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you all later.